Well, good morning, everybody. It's nice to be here. I am the Student Assessment and Retention Coordinator. So I have a very multifaceted job, a lot of which is very fun. I've been on both sides of the fence. I'm an experienced educator. I've been in higher ed for 10 years. I taught clinically and didactically at Monroe Community College. So I have a wealth of experience, and part of my job is to do assessment. And it's been very interesting thus far. I think I've been in the post for about 6 months. One of the things that's going to come up that I wanted to bring you some information about is our Noel Levitt Adult Student Satisfaction Survey. So the key word there is adult satisfaction. And so with that, our students are going to actually report back in a survey format that will be done in your classroom on paper about their experiences here at Keuka College. And from this information that we gather, we actually do some programs, and we actually talk at the administrative level to make the experience better for students. One of which was the Student Advisory Board. So we were just here last week, as Dr. Quest said, and we bring the student representatives together. We had about 35 students. In the fall, we had about 45. And we do different things with them to help them develop some leadership skills, to get some feedback, to get some data on how to make their experience here at Keuka College a much more enriching experience. One of the things that they noted was their small group dynamics has been a concern to them. Small group projects, sometimes cohort health, cohort functionality. So with that in mind, I did a little postcard, and there is no different in the colors. They're all different because I ran out of cards, just like Sarah. And so there's 4 questions on here. And if you would just take a few moments to reflect on the questions, and then on the back side, format your answers for me as long as I can read them. If you feel that you want more time, then I've also included my business card. You're always welcome to email me or phone me. I'm in the office usually Monday through Thursday, sometimes on Friday, but I'm always accessible through email. One of the things that we talked about, another thing that we talked about last week was we designed some behavioral issues in the classroom that they felt needed to be addressed. And so we're going to design a code of behavior or code of conduct, per se. And when the students come together and they formulate it, they're the ones that not only buy into it because they've had voice, but they promote it. So I hope that in your classroom, that some of the things that we're doing at the SAB will filter down and make your experience more meaningful, more pleasurable. Because as an instructor, I don't think there's anything worse than coming into a volatile cohort and trying to get a lot of information in a very short time to students. And we really want to change that whole culture. And some of it does revolve around our assessment. So if you would just be so kind to do that, I would really appreciate that. Let's see if there's anything else I had on here. Oh, also, I designed a Moodle site with John Locke's help, and we have a Student Advisory Board Moodle site, and that's pretty much a repository for different information that seems to be frequently asked questions and frequently asked concerns. And that's an ongoing evolutionary process. We also have a little bit of chat on there, so when students have an issue, they can actually go up there, type in their little question, and then other students can respond to how they handled that situation. So that is on the Moodle page at the bottom of the program pages. Students do have access to that. So I hope I hope those are some of the things that would help you have a more pleasant experience in your classroom. Yes?
If I could ask a question, what exactly, Student Assessment and Retention Coordinator, can you give me an example of when or why one of us would be in contact with you?
I do visit cohorts, so I can visit cohorts if you need. If there's a specific student that you might be concerned about, you can always contact me. I usually deal with programmatic directors, that kind of thing, more so in administration. But if you just have a concern or an issue that you feel might be a topic for the Student Advisory Board, for example, you could always email me and say, in my situation, I've had these issues. Can you address it at the Student Advisory Board, or can you put it on the Moodle site? Anything like that that helps bridge the instructor-student gaps that we sometimes have.
Thank you.
Dr. Quest?
Cynthia, I think one of the other things that you do, and you do it well, is you intervene when instructors are having a real issue with a student. And you have been on the phone, you kind of talk them down off the ledge in some cases.
I've done that frequently. You know, we all have life issues, and students feel that, especially under the stressors that we have with this program being accelerated model. I'm a product of 3 of those accelerated models, one being my doctorate, so I totally understand some of the scenarios that students have that almost they almost feel like they have to quit because this is like the last straw. And so I do spend quite a bit of time talking to students on how to maybe delegate more at home, or introduce some skills, some study skills sometimes, to help them work more effectively and efficiently so that they're not working harder. So I do that also. It just depends. It just depends on the day. So if there's a need that you feel that you would like to see me intervene, let me know, and I'd be happy to help you. Any other questions? Oh, wow. Okay.
I've had a couple cohorts after a couple classes come to me and say, yeah, his grandmother's died every course that we've had. That's why and at this point, other than sending in the absentee page, can I get that concern from the cohort before they kill that particular student? Are you the person to contact?
You can, and I can see what I can do about that. Of course, I don't know every student. We have like 800 of them, but we did do a values clarification last fall, and I think that would be a really good exercise for all cohorts to go through. What do I expect from myself? What do I expect from other students? What do I expect from my instructor? And then actually having conversation to bridge some of these problems that if we had done that early on, we might not have these problems as we go. And that's part of the issue with the small group dynamics. Last week when we were together, we had 6 groups, and we found that one of the second tenet of the project was to delegate the tasks. Decide in your group who's going to be the facilitator, whatever that was. Well, there were 6 of them, so they had to have some creativity. And we found that they rushed to the task, but they didn't have any communication. So we had a couple of small groups that actually crashed and burned. And so there was a great learning experience. Do you think if you had spent a few minutes, finding out what people's learning styles are, what their gifts and talents are, that maybe could have been a better experience? So those are some of the things that I work with them. And they seem to be very receptive. I'm having a lot more emails coming in about different concerns and different questions that they have. Not that anything I might offer might work in every single situation, but that's part of leadership, that they have to decide who their cohort is, what the dynamics are, but at least they have some tools and some skills that perhaps they could suggest in that model, in that cohort model, to help them succeed.
Excuse me, just to follow up on that, the attendance module in Moodle is also helping to address that exact issue, because up until now, you knew that so-and-so's grandmother died, but you had no idea that the same grandmother died 2 courses before that. When we get the attendance report that you generate out of Moodle, it gets imported into a database so that we can trend students' involvement, and how we know, or we will know as soon as we get all this set up, how often a student is late to class if you document that as well. So again, that's we're trying to work on that both from a human aspect as well as from a technical aspect to try to get control over that.
Yes.
If a cohort has a problem with their rep, can they make a call or email you?
Sure. Cohorts don't have to necessarily serve the whole time. I mean, if the cohort feels that that person is not a good representative, that person doesn't have to serve. A lot of times it's voluntary. It's always voluntary, but sometimes they leave the room and they get elected, which is really unfortunate because they really don't have their heart in it. So that's pretty tough. So it's always nice to know that the person that's going to be the rep really wants to do a good job. That's not always true. It doesn't turn out that way. Right. And that's one of the things that we're addressing. I did address that last Saturday with instructors' concern. I did a poll last fall about how would instructors feel about the cohort reps having more of a leadership, and that was the number one thing I heard, was that they get a little overbearing, a little, too much, and they usurp some of the authority in the classroom. And I did address that last week, and I will continue to address that. That's really not their role. Okay, thank you.